There are many great artists whose works will go unknown. Artists whose song lyrics and rhythms played brought joy to countless households. But many of these artists' names will never be known and their recognition will never be given. Today we look at one of those great, forgotten artists.
It's a little light of mine.
My name is Silver Jose Sargent, better known as Silver Star Sargent. I was born May 5th, 1950, in Middletown, Ohio is where I was born. My childhood was relatively, I felt, somewhat lonely because for a long time I thought I was the only child. But my mother played for the church before she went off to school to become a nurse. And when she went off to go to school, she went to Boston. Dad was like salt and pepper, in and out my life, and mostly out than in, for that matter, But that's my childhood, though, growing up. Because my mother played piano for the church, I gravitated to singing, because they would have me sing all the time in church. I was part of the junior choir at Mount Zion Baptist Church in Middletown, Ohio. I moved to Boston with my mother when my father visited one day. So I opened the door and I swung the door open and there was my father and said, "Look here, look who I got with me." And he brought him in and it was Harold. And he said, "This is your brother." So that's when I realized I had a big brother. I was ecstatic and super happy when we walked into the living room aspects of the house. And that particular Christmas, my mother had bought me a drum set. So we walked in and Harold saw the drums. He said, "You got a drum set?" And he grabbed the sticks and jumped over on the drums and started playing it. And I mean, when I say playing it, he was really playing it. He was a professional. When I first met my brother, I just said, "This is it. I'm going to be down with my brother." Well, we got down later on in life.
Silver Sargent is someone that you may have never heard of, even though his creativity has contributed to many songs of the past, songs that you, or maybe even your parents, have loved.
I was trying to be a part of my brother's band, Wood, Brass, and Steel, but I ended up always with the groups that he was around and with and doing things for and traveling, gigging, and all that other stuff. I guess they were notable in the sense that they were known like Sugar Hill Gang, Bootsy Collins, and anybody who was down with George Clinton and those people like that, Even James Brown, Harold was down with he was involved with all those type people there earlier on, which I was excited about all that stuff, And he taught me a lot as it relates to music and people in the industry and who to watch out for and things of that nature. And that's my first introduction to real music. And from there, the list really goes on and on and on, from there. My brother's group was recording at a studio called The Gallery, and that was in East Hartford. And Doug Clark is the owner of that studio. Well, after meeting him and striking up a friendship and everything, I asked him for a job at a studio. He gave me a job, didn't pay me a dime, but what he paid me was in studio time. And I stayed with him for about a year and a half, learning the craft of what goes on in a recording studio my brother and I both brought a lot of business into a studio. We were actually able to start producing any and everybody that was trying to do music, and Harold knew all the talent. And I brought people in from Boston to record with me. People like Prince Charles Alexander, Maurice Starr.
So Maurice produced these 2 records for me. They were awesome. That record was a hit. It launched my career as Prince Charles, and I've been Prince Charles ever since. And it was really a phenomenal situation, and I guess a guy like that comes along once in a lifetime.
But he wasn't Maurice Starr at the time. He was Larry Johnson. I met the Johnson brothers in Boston. All of us were teenagers then. The first Johnson brother I met was Donnie Johnson. He's Sonny Ali now, but his name was Donnie Johnson. We became real close, and he asked me one day, they 2 brothers, Sargent, how'd you get hooked up with the Sugar Hill Gang? Right, because everybody in Boston thought I was a part of the group, Wood, Brass, and Steel, but I really wasn't. I was the leader's kid brother. So I said to them, all you got to do, I said, go meet my friends, Joe Robinson and Sylvia Robinson, his wife. They own Sugar Hill. All right, they own all platinum, own Sugar Hill. And tell them that you're my cousin. That's how it went down. They went down there and got a deal and started producing a couple of songs there. And they came back and started building a studio in Boston, which I was a part of. Then Maurice got a deal at RCA. And that's on the wall somewhere. It's that one right there called The Flaming Star. That's Maurice's one of his first records.
For many, the music industry is about finding fame and fortune. There is a few that truly do music out of the sheer love for doing it. Silver Star Jose Sargent is one of those rare gems.
Collaborating, we did collaborate on a lot of things. Did I get any credit? No, not really. But I got acknowledged. I'm on the albums and whatnot. Special thanks to Cuz, Silver Sargent, right? Which was fine with me. So when a break came for him, he remembered his first break through us, going down and getting his deal as meager as it might have been. It was still $10,000 through Sugar Hill, and he respected that. And so when he was doing the New Edition, I was on the road with Sugar Hill.
You kids are the world's highest paid entertainers.
For the budding buying habits of youngsters, rock and roll represents a world of merchandising opportunities. By one estimate, children 6 to 14 years old control $6 billion in discretionary income.
Initially, I didn't get into the business of music. I didn't know there was a business of music. Only thing I knew is that I wanted to be a musician. I was just happy to be down and around and knowing that I'm with the best there is. When the new kids would do a concert or something like that, huge stadiums, he said, "Y'all want to meet my cuz?" The ending is really the beginning. It really is.